Okay, we're in chapter 7, and this is section 7.2 on multiplication and division of rational expressions. So our objectives here are reviewing multiplication and division of fractions, then multiplying rational expressions, and finally dividing rational expressions. So multiplying and simplifying your answers to lowest terms is what we're supposed to do here. So when we look at this, what we want to do is when we multiply two rational expressions, we want to see if we can reduce before we start. So I don't see anything we can reduce from numerator to denominator. So we're just going to multiply across. And so 4 times 5 is 20, and 9 times 7 is 63. And so that would be our solution. Now here, we have to think about this. That's really 15 over 1. Well, now this 5 will go in here once, and it will go in here 3 times. And we really have 3 times 4, which is 12, over 1 times 1, which is 1. So we really just have 12. Now here, when we do this, we have 2 will go into here once, and it will go into here 4 times. So now we have 5 times 1, which is 5, and 4 times 7, which is 28. So that's really what we're doing. Now let's look at it a different way here. We just multiply straight across and we get our answer. Here, again, we're going to put it over 1. We multiply straight across. And then at that point, we're like, oh, now I can divide and I get my 12. So sometimes you're going to get huge numbers if you don't reduce first, but it's still doable, but you have to think about, can you do it? And here, when we do this, we have the 5 times 2 over 7 times 8. Well, now we're going to say, okay, well, let's reduce that to 1/4, and then we multiply across, and we get our 5 over 28 like we got here. And again, we can do it, all in a step like this, or we can break it down and do different steps like this. It doesn't really matter. All right, so when we divide here and then simplify answers to lowest terms, well, remember when you divide like this, we have to multiply by the reciprocal. So really what we're going to do is we're going to take 1 over 6 times 5 over 3. So instead of multiplying, or instead of dividing, rather, we're going to multiply, and we multiply by that reciprocal. And so now we have 1 times 5, which is 5, 3 times 6, which is 18. Now here, when we change it to multiply, we're going to multiply by, now we have 1 over 18. Well, now 6 will go in here once. That will go in here 3 times. So now we have 1 over 21. Now when we multiply this one by the reciprocal, 15 over 11, well, 5 will go in here once. That'll go in here 3 times. We have 3 times 4, which is 12. 1 times 11, which is 11. Okay, so now let's look at it a different way. Well, what we have is we're going to have 1 over 6 times 5 over 3. So again, multiplying by the reciprocal, and we just multiply straight across to get 5 over 18. Here, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, 1 over 18. But now we're going to say, okay, well, let's go ahead and keep that. But now we're going to reduce this to 1 over 3, and then we get 1 over 21 when we simplify. And finally, multiplying by that reciprocal, we can reduce here, or in this case, they actually multiplied and got that. And then we have to think about, well, now what do I do? Well, you divide, and you have this, and you get to 1211. Now, see, this is why when I say at this point, if we were reduced, we wouldn't have to go ahead and then refactor and then cancel at that point. We could say, okay, well, 5 goes in here and 5 goes into here, and we're done a little bit earlier than what they explain here. All right, let's stop here and we'll come back for some more.